Good afternoon everybody, welcome to another video. It's about 1 now, 23rd of January, and as you can see behind me, down this, I would say small river, it's the Avon. It's a sort of little branching off the Avon that I like to do a bit of trotting on when the levels are right, and the Avon's dropped that this swim is pretty much bang on, to be honest. It looks great. There's about 1.5 foot of visibility, still pushing through. It's a cracking swim. This is to do some trotting in, which is the plan for today. I've got my trusty Adornment Pro there, 15-foot rod, a little bit long for in here with this overhanging trees, but we'll cope. My Dow 125M close face reel there, this second-hand reel I got off eBay and sorted out. Very muddy, but yeah, it's working really well now. A few new parts in it, I should say. But yeah, I think I'm going to primarily concentrate on this swim. I fished here a few months ago now, a few videos ago, and lost a cracking fish in here. Caught a few, but lost a cracking fish. So back out for revenge today. Hopefully we can have a few. The water was about at least 6 or 9 inches higher that day. We were stood over there and we were sort of shin deep in water. It's a bit lower today, despite reading about the same on the gauge. The gauge is fairly well upstream, so obviously it's a little bit fluctuates from that, but we've got a nice pace of water through here. As you can see, the river goes off round to the left there, and there's a lovely slack over there, and the chub often tend to hang around in there, but we have got a nice slack on the inside as well. But that's the plan, bit of trotting. Got my same setup as normal on here. I'll stick a link to all the stuff I use down below, but suffice to say I've got a Drake alloy stem stick float on there. Can use a dome top. I've got a semi-domed on at the moment, or even a slender top, a step top, should we wish. And of course the bait of choice, as always, this time of year. Do fish with maggots sometimes, but the bait of choice, certainly today, is half a bucket of mashed bread. I've got lots to use up, as I was on my sick bed for 3 weeks, so I've got plenty to use up before it goes mouldy. Some of it already is, but just gives it a nice red wine aroma. I don't think it bothers a fish at all. Right, that's enough waffle, isn't it? Let's get the rod set up. We'll trickle a bit of bait in, and then we'll get fishing. Now, if this swim doesn't produce, we can always go for a bit of a wander. Actually, I can see about 2 foot into it, to the river here. It's perhaps a little bit too clear, to be honest. Never mind. We'll have a go. Coax some chub out, hopefully, perhaps from under that cover. And some of the times this float will run right round in the current. Other times it'll go over into that slack. We'll be able to pull it around into that slack as well. We can possibly also go and have a go from the top of the bank round there, and perhaps trot a bit further round, because I can't go too far around the corner here, because if we hook anything down there, it's just going to do us in those snags. So if we want to fish further around, we'll get round that side. Right, we'll get the rod set up. We'll have a crack. Blimey, this mashed bread's been in my car overnight, and it is freezing. But then it went down to about -3 last night, so not really surprising, but that's the reason I put it in the car. Keep it fresh. Can sometimes take a few minutes to get things going in here. Perhaps 20 minutes, half an hour occasionally. We'll give it a bit of time. Weather's not great either. Obviously, as you can see, it's very sunny. It may be that I can't really get anything going, perhaps until it starts to drop off a bit, the light I'm talking about. Could perhaps go for a bit of an explore. Try a few different swims if we're not getting anything here, and then perhaps come back as it's getting dark. But I think, yeah, we'll give it a good half an hour. Certainly know by that time if we're going to get any bites or not. As you saw, we got plenty of mashed bread. You know what that bucket is. Certainly, probably 15 litres. It's about at least a third full of mashed bread, so we've got plenty of bait if we need to have a go at a few swims. Right, let's cast. Let's just let that trundle off through and see what happens. Not sure the fish are going to be in all this really boily water. I can just trundle that round into that slack, hopefully. This is one of those swims that every time it's at a different height, it reacts differently. There's all sorts of different eddies in different places, and it's still very boily. I think the fish, if they are in here, will be over there in that slack. Right, I'm going to call it a day at that. No point flogging a dead horse. They're clearly either not here or not interested at the moment. Giving it plenty of time. I'm sure we'd have had a bite by now if they were at all interested. But, you know, it's primed, so we can always come back later. So it may be a good idea to come back at dusk. It's dark. At 4:30ish this time of year. So yeah, I think we'll prime it up a little bit more. Then we'll go for a bit of a wander. A bit of bait right over in that slack. But it's not going to get washed away. There we go. Fab. Right, yeah. I think time for a bit of a roam. Right, come down onto the main river. Give it a bit of a go. Sometimes I have a few chub out of this run here. Nice run down under that tree there, as you can see. So hopefully we can have our first bite of the day. As I said earlier, not massively surprising given the conditions. I'm sure all these fish are tucked away. Oh, give it 5 minutes, putting a bit of bait in. And then we'll start running the float through. Just that sun is just starting to dip a bit in the sky. Shadows are lengthening. Might just be able to winkle a few fish out. Who knows? Hopefully. Let's do the water temperature while I'm here. Just out of interest, I haven't got anything to compare it with. I've been on this stretch for a while. It'd be nice to know what it is. I'm guessing it's about 4. It's been very cold of late. Been having nights of -4 and days of sort of 3. So I'm guessing it's going to be cold. Amazing. Just shows you what urban environment does. And not a particularly big one. By that I mean Stratford. I did the water temperature in the Avon by my house, which is downstream from Stratford. I did it this morning. It was 4.9. Up here, above Stratford, 4.2. So 0.7 of a degree difference, just a few miles, just for the fact that the river goes through Stratford. There is a tributary that comes in as well, but having done the temperature on there and knowing that that's hovering around the 4 degree mark as well, that's not warmed the Avon up, certainly. Right, see if we can do any good in here. Well, there's very little going on here. To be honest, if it was a bit earlier in the day, I'm tempted to go home. There's really nothing doing at all. I don't think I've had a bite yet. But not overly surprised, as I say, with that sun out. Not a breath of wind. Frosty nights. This is clearer than I thought it would be, and clearer than I'd like, to be honest. I think it is going to be as the sun goes down. So it should only get better from now on. It's about 3:15. The sun sets about an hour away. We'll have another 10 or 15 minutes in here, I think, perhaps. Go and return to that swim we started in. I think that's probably our best bet. Look, keeps going under there. Oh, I say it keeps going under there. We've just had a fish. It's gone under there a few times to float, and I've struck and I've missed it. We've actually got a fish on. I don't think it's huge, but it's a fish. Trying to get it away from the snags. That sun's just gone in. I think it's done us a favour. Yeah, that's strange. That float has gone under a few times there, and I've struck. And I thought it was the bottom. And I wonder if it is a shoal of modest chub, because I don't think this is huge, but first proper bite of the day is certainly not huge. Lovely colour. Come on, chap. And grace the landing net. I should have double extended my landing net, shouldn't I? Come on. Oh, get me for coach down. There we go. There we go. It's a start. Fantastic. Wonderful stuff. Well, it's took 2 hours, but we've had our first bite. Well, there we are. Can only bode well. That's wonderful. Yeah, that float had pulled under there maybe 3 or 4 times over the past sort of 20 minutes, half an hour I've been in this swim. And I've not connected to anything every time, so just assumed, as you do, just assumed it was the bottom. Clearly not. Certainly wasn't that time anyway. Obviously I'm not going to return him because we'll go down there and scare all his mates, so just got him in the net down here. Started using this Guru specimen net, which has got a lovely deep mesh on it. Try and make Mick put me onto. Right. As I say, can't imagine for a minute he's down there on his own. So hopefully, first of many, fingers crossed. Just as that sun, I was just saying, wasn't I? Just as that sun's starting to set. It's just starting to go down. A few clouds in the sky as well. Just taking the edge off it. Just, the light intensity's just dropped off. I don't think it's any coincidence at all. Well, hopefully we can have his big brother as well. There we go. Next run through. Feels a bit of a better fish. Certainly trying to get in the snags. Wow, would you believe it? Fantastic. Certainly switched on to it now. going in. Try and keep them interested. Just going to say, as soon as this sun's dropped, blimey, it's gone cold. Oh, go over the other side now. As soon as that sun's dropped, gone behind a cloud, sort of partially, and God, I see my breath all of a sudden. This one does feel a little better. It's not beasting me, but sure he is. Just putting up a better scrap. Come on, fella. Oh, it's a little bigger, I think. Well, 2 and 2 trots. Fab. Get them both in at the same time. Lovely. I think it's a little bigger. Well, there we are. Number 2. 2 and 2. Fantastic. Wonderful stuff. Right. Let's see if we can have a few more out. It's brilliant. I had almost given up on this spot, to be honest. A big log went through, got caught on the tree, just downstream from me. So I went down there and poked it, and it got stuck again. I went down a bit further and poked again, and I thought I'd probably just disturbed the place too much. It was just right in the way, sticking out across the river, right in the way where I was trotting. And I really did think it probably wrecked the swim. I was as quiet as I could be. But I had to move it. It was sticking out about where the float is now, down by that tree. Really thought I'd done for it. Done for the swim. Yes. Took a second to register. Similar sort of size, I think. And pass these snags as quickly as possible. This one is heading for the snags. Ah, I think he made it. That's annoying. There we go. Oh, this feels a better fish. Certainly pulling back. Gently lead him upstream. Fab. Oh, he's done me again. Well, I think he's done me. He had. With a slack line. Got him out. There we go. That's it, we're in the clear now. Just got me in that snag down there, but just give him a bit of slack line and he popped. Slightly better fish. Cool. Still full of energy. Come on. Well, they're getting bigger. Slap. Yeah, no monsters, but wonderful fun. Absolutely fantastic. Great stuff. Right. Well, this is cracking. The only thing that's a bit twitchy is this, these snags on the inside here. A bit twitchy when they go for that, and I have to bring them past. I'll keep going though. Can't leave it swimming, you're getting bites, can you? I'll carry on here for a bit. Get up there for perhaps the last half an hour of daylight. And I'll go home and clean my reel because it's getting very sticky. The line's sticking inside. A bit cautious about standing here, it looks a bit undercut. No, that's it. I'll call it a day here at that. We'll get off up to that other swim. Getting a bit low on bread mash, believe it or not. I reckon, 5 or 6 litres of it. We've got through it all. You just need to keep it going in, that's the thing. Just got to keep feeding and keep feeding. There's not much to it really when it's mashed up. Just lots of particles. Right. We'll get these fellas back. There we go. Off you go, chaps. Cracking. Right. Let's go up there so we can catch a biggie. Certainly doesn't seem to be anything doing in this little stretch, this little carrier. Just don't seem interested. No, it's gone right round. Right, we'll call it a day. It's been very enjoyable, and I think, to be honest, if you'd offered me 3 chub when the sun was blazing this afternoon, I think I'd have took that. So I'm certainly not going to complain. Though I did think it would be a little bit better than it's been, but I did think it would be a bit more coloured, the water, than it is. But it's fairly clear for the height. But yeah, I've had a very enjoyable time. But I think it's time to go home now. The sun is very well set. It's well gone down over there, as you can see. It's getting pretty cold. Yeah, I think I could stand here for the next 3 hours, assuming I could see the float in the dark, and I wouldn't get a bite. They just don't seem interested today. But, you know, the water is 4 degrees and they are going to be a bit moody, I guess. We're just coming off some horrendous floods. So, you know, clearly fish haven't quite settled down yet, but they will. Oh, they will, I'm sure, in the next few days. And planning on getting out a bit closer to home, a bit further downstream, and it's a little bit more coloured down there. So I think we've got a better chance. Anyway, I'm waffling. Time to go home. Now, as I say, we'll be out in the next few days. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your wonderful support. And I'll see you all again very soon.